Assalamu alaikum, peace everyone. Bismillahi wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We are in another interview with our sister Hiba Fatima. She is a sister who is an author, a self-published author, Allahumma barak. And we're going to be digging into her journey as an author who chose her own way of publishing her book. And hopefully there will be a lot of value there as well. But Sister Hiba, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Assalamu alaikum. So Julie, like you mentioned, my name is Hiba, and I am the author of the book Beyond Income: Finding Purpose and Jannah Through Work. And I am actually a Islamic career coach and Hifz coach. The book is basically based on my experience of what I went through in the process of finding a career that would work for me while fulfilling all of my responsibilities as a Muslim woman. So yeah, that's where the book is stemming from, and that's what I do. I did graduate in nutrition though, so kind of like a different step, yeah.
I love it. I love it, mashallah. So much more value to give. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of, I know you touched on it, but what really inspired you to want to write this book specifically?
Yeah. So for me, I was into coaching. I didn't know what was coaching back then. So when I went through like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, it was like a big thing because one thing is to find a career that you love. The second thing is, okay, how do I connect this with my deen? Because when I was going through it, it was like all of this self-help advice, live the life that you love. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. But then, oh my God, like there's such a big disconnect. How do I connect this back to my deen? Like I'm a Muslim woman, I have other responsibilities. So that
Yeah.
was quite a journey. So when I went through that, I was like, I need to share this with my other people. And I started with my cousins. I saw they really benefited from it. And then I started sharing that with other people. And then the more I coached, the more I realized that I cannot share everything that's possible in these sessions. So I decided that what better way to do that than with a book. I initially wrote like a small booklet kind of thing, which I do have here, which is like a small workbook, like 70-page thing here.
Nice, nice,
But
mashallah.
but then I was like, no, this is not enough. I need to do more. And then that's where the book came from. It was like just a random idea I had last November.
Oh, beautiful, mashallah. Jazakallah khair for sharing that. So you did a little bit of coaching, the idea came, and there was this pull that you felt that you had so much more to give and you wanted to record it in a book, right?
Yeah.
So what made you choose specifically this publishing route of self-publishing amongst instead of like traditional or hybrid?
Yeah. So initially, I thought I would go the route of traditional publishing, but then I quickly realized that it is a very lengthy process. And me personally, I had like a goal for myself that I want to publish a book by this day. And I actually had like I had to like a specific age goal. So I was like, I need to publish the book before I turn so and so. And I just pushed it to the very end. And I did that right before my birthday. And I was like, okay, if I went to the traditional route, I wouldn't do. That's like just one reason. But the main reason is actually because I did approach different publishers and I did approach like hybrid publishers as well. But at the moment, because I was a new author and I had like a lot of issues with my editing, like I did edit a lot, but at that time when I did approach them, it was not at a stage where they would want to be they would want to work with it because it had a lot of editing to do. Yeah. So the main reason was because I couldn't find any publisher and I had a deadline. So that's when I went through it. Because sometimes, when you just keep on working and then you just don't end up publishing, that becomes like it never happens sometimes. So yeah, I didn't want to fall in that category.
I know, and just upon that, I love how Allah Mabarak, you took control of it. You knew what you wanted, and either way, you were going to share your message with the world. Um, so I heard you speak a little bit about editing. Now, editing, so the inspiration process is something that so many of us writers are just drawn to writing in general,
Yeah.
right? But then when it comes to editing, it can be so overwhelming sometimes. So, do you have any advice just from that initial draft to getting it to a place, your book to a place where it's like, okay, now I can publish this book?
Yeah, so I think like with my journey, what I went through, I think there's been a couple of things that I could have done that would have been so much more better. So
Mm.
since I already knew what I was gonna write about, so writing itself, the first draft didn't take me a long time. So it was like, I think by the end of January, I think I was already done. I started in November or mid-November last year, and by
Yeah.
January I was done because I knew what I was going to write about. Yeah. So that was quick. But then after that, I didn't realize how much editing is required. Like for me, I was not a very good writer, and all I thought was I would write it and I would have somebody convert this into a book for me because like I am not a very good writer. In school, I didn't really study how to write well in English because like the education system's a little messed up here. So I never really wrote a proper essay for school. So I that actually did put me off a little bit initially, but I was like, you know what? I see people have editors, so I can just get an editor myself. So I did reach out to editors right after I finished my first draft, and I think I should have gone through my own draft two, three times and refined it before I did do that because what I ended up doing is after I did get an editor, I finished editing with her. I went back and added a few more things and changed a few more things. And I feel like I could have done that before, and that would have been so much better. And I could get like so much more feedback from that. Yeah, so after I worked with her also, I did go back and do like 5, 6 rounds of editing myself. So I
Mm.
think one thing that it taught me is that your writing will improve. Yeah,
Mm.
my writing was terrible at the beginning, and as I went along, it did help me a lot. As I kept on reading it, I was like, no, this is not supposed to be like this, and then yeah.
Oh wow, subhanallah. So there's a lot of lessons learned, mashallah. And this was your first book, right? So there was a booklet
Yeah.
and this is your first official kind of whole book. Could you tell us a little bit about the structure of the book? What can people expect if they wanted to learn from the book or buy the book? What is the book about?
Yeah, so the book is basically about how one thing that I really stand for is taking what you learn and applying it right away. Because when you don't do that, that just sort of becomes knowledge and just goes back into your library of things that you never use. So for
Yeah.
me, it was very important to make the book very practical.
Mm.
So what I did was I took the information that I learned, the knowledge that I gained, and then made it into action steps so that the reader can actually go ahead and implement on that. Like very much based on my coaching, I would say. So the book is basic structure like this. So like I said, the book is about finding a career, finding a work life that would build your Jannah for you. So in our lives, in our minds, we sometimes have the disconnect of how work is a different part and then deen is different part. But I want to bring that together. We have that concept of deen over dunya. I want to teach you that dunya can be your deen as well. You can make your dunya your deen as well. It's just about your mindset, your how intentional you are, and what kind of choices you make. And a
Mm.
very big time of our lives we do spend in our work. So that was like a big thing. So a big chunk of your time, if you will. So what I do is, first of all, I go through this journey of how, like I have 5 stages in the book. The first stage is about understanding where you are in your life and
Mm.
understanding what your perspective is. And
Mm.
that's because, when we don't know where we are, we cannot get to where we want to go. I always give this example that when we put in in GPS like where we want to go, we always search up like where the location is. And once we do search up, it will show you here's where your location is. And the GPS won't give you directions until you put in where you actually are. And then that's when you get the results, yeah, the directions, right? So that's what's very important. This dream life you want to have, this amazing things that you want to do, amazing person you want to become. But until unless you know where you are, you cannot get there. So that's what the first stage is about, understanding your beliefs, understanding where you are in life, what your achievements are, what your strengths are, who you are essentially. The second
Mm.
stage is where I take you through this perspective shift of your work becoming an essential tool for your akhirah. It's not
Mm.
opposite. It's not something that's keeping you away from your akhirah like we sometimes view it. So it's that perspective shift, understanding that work is an essential part of your life, and you can use that to build your Jannah, to leave a positive legacy, a positive impact on your community. That's what the second stage is about. The third stage is about, okay, I did understand what work is. Like in an Islamic sense, okay, I get how I can use this.
Mm.
Now, third stage is understanding or taking inspiration from people who understood this importance of work and how they built their akhirah using their work. So
Mhm.
it comes with it has a lot of small biographies, including the Prophet ﷺ and some of the Sahaba and other figures from our times as well, so that we can relate to them. We can understand, okay, this is not just some abstract concept. It's like people have done this, and we can do that. So also, I draw on some lessons that we learned from them. And then the fourth stage is finally creating that own your own life strategy and creating your own legacy, designing it. And
Mhm.
then I leave you with a very actionable steps based plan. And then final stage is, okay, now you have your plan. How do you get started? It's just like gearing up to get started. That's what the last stage is about. That's how the book is structured.
That's beautiful, mashallah, Alam Barik. So it sounds like a very good structure that you have your inspiration there, you have your guidance, you have your practicality as well. I think those are my favorite kinds of books because it has a little bit of everything. So say that someone is an author or they are doing a more creative lifestyle, maybe I don't know, organizational or whatever, you could fill the blank. What advice would you give to them if they said, I don't have time to write because, or I don't have time to, do a creative project because I'm not going to earn any money and I should be doing a thing. So what advice would you give to someone who is kind of struggling with that, that nuance of wanting to do something that they're passionate about and they really enjoy, and then fearing that they aren't going to make money from it?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is there's like something that I learned from one of the circles. Don't remember the book we were reading, but the sheikh said that basically when you write a book, it is like an immortal child that you have. So
Mhm.
even if you die, your book will remain behind and people will still benefit from it. So if you think from the aspect of, just for the sake of your akhirah, I think that's a huge investment you can make. Your ideas will stay behind and people will still benefit from it. But also, I think that, sometimes, as authors, we do not get enough money from the book, which is fine. But if, income is a concern, right? We should care about it. So
Of
I
course.
think what can help you is the fact that, once you have that brand, once you have that authority in your niche, once you have your own book published, you can
Mhm.
have your own coaching programs. Your book can bring you clients. And so it's if you're worried about your income, if you're worried about your finances, I think that would be a better way or like a good tool for you to overcome that part. And when it comes to time, I will tell you, I had my hand in so many different things while I was publishing this project. So um I always had that. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It's like all Allah's blessings. But let me tell you, if you want to do something, like you will get that done no matter what. When I
Mm.
started the book last November, I was doing dual degrees.
Oh, wow, subhanallah.
So on the one hand, I was finishing up my last year of nutrition,
Mhm.
and on the other hand, I was studying my Islamic studies at Medina. And like both are two completely different things. One's like all based in English, and the other one's like in Arabic, which is like, how do you even study in Arabic? It can get a little challenging sometimes to study in like an Arabic medium. So yeah, I would say like when you want to do something, you will make time for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I it wasn't the perfect time for me as well. I didn't have all of the time that I wanted. And there would be a lot of time where I would have exams. And once exam starts for me, because they're two separate degrees, midterm year finishes there, midterm starts, and then finals and then assignments. So it would roughly take around 3 months for me to finish all of those exams once they start. So it's all about how you plan and how you strategize. When you have a proper plan in place, oh, here's when I'm going to be busy. Let me just prepare for that beforehand. What I did was when I had finals earlier in June, what I did was I sent that at that time, I sent the book to the editor. So that
Mm.
while the editor is working on it, I can
Nice.
focus on my own thing. And when I
Mm.
had time before that, I was working on the book myself. And then when
Mhm.
I got back with summer break, I focused all of my energy towards the book. And
Mm.
now I finally publish it. And right after that, actually, I have midterms for my Islamic studies.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So it's
Wow.
all about how you manage and how you plan. I know like sometimes you have a lot of different responsibilities. For me, I have like a 10-year-old with me who I need to help in doing his hip. So he's doing hip at the moment. So that requires a lot of commitment and time and attention. So yeah, what I would say is inshallah, if you really want to do it, you will sit down, you will make a plan. And when you put everything in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy for you.
SubhanAllah. So it's about doing everything with excellence and just being consistent and also valuing your time, right? So what I'm seeing as well is, could you remind me, could you put the book up just for a second so I can just read the title? Okay, Beyond Income. SubhanAllah,
Finding
finding purpose.
purpose and Jannah through work.
Beautiful, mashallah. And that is such an important concept, Allahumma barik. So it's all about using your time wisely, right? And it seems
Yeah.
like the things that you were juggling, you were able to do that. So were there any challenges? I know you touched on that a little bit. Were there any challenges in writing this book for you?
Well, there were like a lot of different kinds of challenges, I would say. One was I was an initial author. I didn't know anybody who wrote a book before, so I couldn't get some help from them or like learn from their experiences. But I did reach out to some authors online, and that did help me, alhamdulillah. So one part was fixing the writing itself, which we talked about, the editing. And the other thing was there's like so many other things involved with publishing a book. You need
Mhm.
to do the book cover, and I decided that I wanted to do illustrations as well. So
Mm.
those took a little time.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
mashallah.
So
Mm.
I think I have like 28 or something illustrations. So doing managing that and then formatting the book as it was like basically a solo project. So I did a lot of different things myself. I did have an editor who helped me and I had an illustrator who helped me. So other
Mm.
than that, everything that you think about, laying out, having a layout, doing the copyrights thing, understanding that, and
Mm.
basically even the interior the book cover design, everything, the concept, it was all on me. And sometimes I did feel like a little burnt out because there's like so many things going on. But I think there was time where I was like, nope, I'm giving up. There's no way I can continue doing this. But then, alhamdulillah, my friends and my family helped me push through sometimes. And there's always people in your family who will tell you like it won't work out. Don't waste so much of your time behind it. But it's fine. You are doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your akhirah, and that's all that matters. And inshallah, the work that you do, it will make a difference for you and for other people as well. So that's the other thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that those are two big things or challenges that I had.
Oh, wow, subhanAllah. So, could you do a small reading for us from the book? Feel
Okay,
comfortable.
yeah, sure, but I'm not sure what part to read.
Well, you can definitely choose. You can even read the blurb if you want, so people can have a little bit of like an insight more to the book, inshallah. Whatever you feel
Okay.
comfortable with.
I'll start with, okay, how much do you want me to read?
Maybe a couple of paragraphs.
Okay. Should I just read the introduction then?
Yes, yes, that's brilliant.
Not a very good reader. English is my second language, so bear with me. Um, okay. One evening after school, I was sitting on an old vintage style sofa adjacent to my mom's desk. And by the way, this is the exact room how we were seated.
Oh, wow, subhanAllah.
I had to recreate that in the book. Anyways, so one evening after school, I was sitting on an old vintage style sofa adjacent to my mom's desk, going back and forth with her about the major I wanted to study, the projects I wished to initiate, and the contributions I aspired to make. I shared my ideas with her, and she shared her thoughts with me. She told me to focus on what I can do now, to be sincere, and to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I did as she said. I did as she said, but I needed more clarity for myself. Even though I was still a freshman in high school, I could not feel comfortable not knowing my life's direction and mission. I needed a more defined path and a goal I can work towards. In the years that followed, okay, this is like a lot of more explanation. Okay, so however, the biggest challenge I faced was aligning my path with Islam, a challenge I chose to embrace as I consciously chose Islam to be my way of life and wanted my life choices to reflect it. I struggled with questions I had no answers for. What does Islam say about work? Does pursuing career fall under chasing dunya? Is there a way I can combine my dunya and my akhirah? Is it right for me to work as a woman? Is there a way for me to balance all of my responsibilities? And then I dive into what I did, but I want to skip to here. My quest made it clear to me that in the modern world, the ideas around work and career have become increasingly secularized and have left us completely alienated from our faith. The unfortunate reality often leaves many of us feeling uncomfortable in our approach to work and leads us to neglect proper career planning and choice. On a societal level, I believe this has resulted in the Muslim community not being able to realize the full potential of their abilities. In the past, Muslims made significant contributions to the world. They compiled a canon of medicine, which was the leading medical textbook for 6 centuries, developed algebra and algorithms, invented the camera and the concept of images, established hospitals and universities, and even discovered coffee. And here we are, holding ourselves back from engaging with and contributing to the wider society because of our limited beliefs surrounding work, ibadah, and Islam. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jazakallah khair. That was, mashallah, very insightful and inspirational, subhanAllah. And I could really hear your voice as well, in the actual writing. SubhanAllah, it humanized it a little bit more as well. So that it wasn't like textbook, but then there's like
Yeah.
this kind of like approachability as well. So I really enjoyed that, inshallah.
One thing I really wanted to make sure for the book was that I don't want it to be like a very booky kind of thing, like
Yeah.
very big terminologies. I want it to be in like everyday normal language, like we talk, so that it's easier for people to understand and relate. Because sometimes when you read books, it's like so much academic stuff, and then you can't actually put that into practice. You don't relate to that.
That's so true. So, Sister Hiba, could you please share one last piece of advice for our listeners, inshallah, to wrap it up? But then also, I'm going to be asking you about where we can find your book and about your offer as well, inshallah. So, first the advice and then the offer, inshallah.
Okay. So you want my advice in regards to writing or in regards to the subject
Right.
of the book? What?
Whatever you feel might benefit our listeners or watchers, inshallah, our audience, because these are going to be majority women, they're going to be Muslims, they're also going to be writers and creatives as well, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, guys. And so, inshallah, whatever you
They're
feel.
gonna be like, "Oh, you forgot us for so long, Aisha. That's just a late salam."
Yeah. We got so engaged.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I would advise authors who want to publish their book, especially if it's their first book, is that focus on creating your own personal brand before you publish the book. And that's something that I think that was a big lesson for me. I think I should have done that way before because that would have already helped me gain start a community where people who are interested in my field, in my niche would be there and I would be able to speak to them, and the book would be would do much more, better. So I think that's one advice that I would have. In terms of just in general, in related to the book, I would say that, you have so much potential in you. Sometimes we don't realize that. We don't understand sometimes how much we could use our time to build our legacy. We could be helping so many people. It's just that sometimes we are held back because of our limited beliefs, or sometimes we just don't realize it. And sometimes if we know, we don't know how to put that to use. So I think, inshallah, when you sit down, you think about it, there's a lot of potential, and every step of the way, just make dua. That's the biggest advice that I can give. Like dua. That's the biggest one. Like for me, I did join Visionaire, which is a program run by Discover You, and what they teach you in that is go big on your dream duas. So in my dream duas, you make those dream duas every single day, which I wasn't really very punctual with them, but I did try my best. So in my dream duas, three of my dream duas were related to my books. So yeah, go big on your dua. And you can find the book on Amazon. Um, you'll not have this thing line here. It's like a proof copy from before I published. And so yeah, you can find this book on Amazon right now. I am working on getting them into bookstores, which I'm not sure when that will happen. And I
Mm.
also do have an offer right now for anybody who buys the book. For the first 500 readers can get a journal, Beyond Income Journal. And if you manage to be from one of those 50 people, you will also get access to my group coaching related to the program. And if you're really not sure that if the book is right for you, then I have like 5 chapters that I give away. And so you can read those 5 chapters and decide if you want to get the book for yourself or not.
Brilliant, mashallah, and barik. So please do, we'll be sharing the link as well of where you can find this book, and please do purchase it and visit our sister Hiba Fatima. Do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. It's hibafatima.com.
Okay, perfect. Hiba, and how do you spell Fatima? Because I noticed it's not a spelling that I'm used to. So is it
Yeah.
Fathima, right?
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
kind of am like salty about that. I'm
Oh,
always going back and forth with my parents. I'm like, why did you have to have that extra H in there?
well, alhamdulillah, it's beautiful, mashallah. It's memorable as well. So, please do get the book, inshallah. And Sister Hiba Fatima, just to let you know, we the writer's block. I don't know, are you part of that community on our WhatsApp? We have a writer's block community.
I did apply to that, but I didn't hear back.
Okay, inshallah. So it's a WhatsApp group. So if you're on WhatsApp, we would have added you, but we'll just double check the number, maybe, inshallah. We'll do a back and forth. But you can
I can
also
send you the number to the email that you sent right now. Yeah.
please, that'll be amazing because for our listeners as well, it's a beautiful place for other sisters to also share their books and anything that you're working on, any writing. It's a place for motivation. So Sister Heba, please do share your book there as well. Some sisters have just recently published, so I know that they'll receive that well. And Jazakallah khair for being here, honoring us with your presence, and
Thank you
inshallah,
so much. The pleasure's all mine.
you're very welcome. And have a beautiful and blessed day. Is it day or night where you are?
Night. It's
Night.
9
Well,
p.m.
oh wow, subhanAllah. Okay, have a good night. Assalamu alaikum wa
Yeah,
rahmatullahi.
hopefully a good night that I can sleep early.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
best kind of sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me again.